Yes, alright, so here we are in Ice Station Obelisk. This is another 1 versus 1, and it's going to be Warp Spider Exarch for the Eldar versus Tech Marine for the Space Marines here. And let's go ahead and get this replay started. So, taking a look around, we've got just, the normal kind of stuff. Looks like Warp Spider Exarch moving out. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. It's always important to make sure you're using the blink ability on that Warp Spider Exarch right away, just to, get yourself to those points a little bit quicker here. Looking around, we can see that we've got Count Von Count today playing as the Tech Marine, and we've got Blaster with a 5 for an S playing as the Warp Spider Exarch here. Count Von Count is getting a Tactical Marine squad out in addition to his starting scouts, and already we have Howling Banshees on the field here for Blaster. So pretty normal looking build orders from everybody so far. I think it's always good to know your classic kind of build orders, so you kind of get an idea what people are doing out there. And by the way, just one observation here. One thing that's really hard to do when you're watching your own replays is to avoid just watching all the same stuff that you already watched when you played it the first time. And it's really tempting, because sometimes you're watching a replay because you want to go back and relive those great memories, like, oh, look at that fantastic plasma grenade. And so you go back and you focus on the things that you already know you did, and you end up just missing the same things that you missed the first time you played it. So really, when you're watching your own replays, try to just look at other stuff. Let's see what's going on up here, though. We do have the Warp Spider Exarch right now, and I like what the Tech Marine was doing here, is that he and the Tactical Marines were just trying to force melee there, just to kind of get the Warp Spider out of there. Obviously, they're not going to be able to do too much damage. Warp Spider will just blink away, but at least they scared him away from the center there. So far, caps are looking good for everybody. We can see here, ooh, by the way, Scout's getting early shotgun upgrades here. I like that they're keeping their distance, but also putting some pressure on these Howling Banshees, who are just busy capping. And you can see the Howling Banshees taking quite a bit of damage just from that little fighting. And the shotgun finishes right then. You get that nice little explosive blast there just as they retreat. And oddly enough, these Scouts have no problem keeping away those Howling Banshees. I definitely like that right there. You can see the Guardians right now just kind of scaring away the Scouts now and finally capping this point as well. And you can see the disadvantage early game for Count Von Count only having 1 Scout and 1 Tactical Marine squad is that he does not have nearly the same sort of map control. I do like that he kind of forced the issue and came all the way out in here and took care of some of Blaster's territory. But you can see that all of these northern cap points here that he otherwise would have got if he had a 2nd Scout squad or something like that are just kind of lying fallow for the time being here. So looks like just kind of a little bit of indecision here. I like that he engaged and then thought, oh, I need cover, and then went and got behind this, by the way. So that looks pretty good right there. Tech Marine taking some damage, again, taking sort of unnecessary damage while trying to cap that victory point, but just it looks like all those Guardians have to get the heck on out of there. So let's see what's going on here. Count Von Count has gone for really fast power generators, meaning he's skipped getting any sort of a 3rd unit for the time being, just for the sake of power. This kind of play here by the Space Marines, very vulnerable to gen bashing. So I think you should always kind of be aware of that and try your best to kind of scout it out. We already saw some units coming by down here, but none of that just yet. Howling Banshees right now doing a fantastic job just getting all nitty-gritty with these Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines can sometimes do really well against Howling Banshees. Tacs are definitely no chumps in melee, especially when the Howling Banshees are so weak. And look at the supporting fire from the Tech Marine. Howling Banshees took a lot of casualties there. I think it would have been a lot better if the Tacs had just kind of stood around and just fought a little bit before retreating. But now you can see, oh, and kind of missing out on this opportunity here. Here's a great time to come in and put some pressure on your opponent's generators. 3rd generator is being built right then. Could have come down here and destroyed all of that. Unfortunately, took such heavy losses on the Howling Banshees that had to just kind of pull on out of there. But Howling Banshees do a fine job at hacking away at generators. But, whatever. You can see that Blaster does have their own set of generators up right now, so that's kind of okay. Guardians capping away at some of the stuff that they lost early game. Scouts getting shredded here by this Warp Spider Exarch. I love the upgrade. Improved targeters first on Warp Spider Exarch. Super useful there. And now we're going to see that, yes, we have an assault squad on the field right now. So Count Von Count was saving up, wanted some power to be able to make sure he had some assault marines out on the field. No upgrades or anything yet for the Tech Marine. And looks like the Scouts and the Tactical Marines here are just kind of healing and resupplying there. So we're going to have to see how he's going to use that. The Assault Squad can do pretty well on the battlefield right now. They just have to be careful about how they engage the how they engage all those Howling Banshees. But now you can see I love what Count Von Count has got set up here, because he's just going for the generators right now, knowing that there's good gen bashing to go on. And unfortunately, it looks like Blaster's troops are just spread out all over the field here, all on the northern side. Oh, by the way, Blaster does have the plasma grenade battle equipment on both Guardian squads there. That's super useful. And the Warp Spider Exarch is capping all around. So losing generators here, but looks like sending two squads all the way down south to try and help out with that. But it is a triple cap right now for Blaster, or at least it's about to be. So that's looking pretty good. However, this is horrific losses right now. Taking just a ton of damage, losing all these generators, going to lose this whole area here. Now you can see it looks like he's aware that this counterattack is coming. And, oh no, that's not looking good at all. High explosive shot right in the front of the Howling Banshees. Howling Banshees just getting destroyed. They are so fragile. And now getting chopped up as they are retreating here by these Assault Marines. That is no good, and it looks like the Guardians are just going to follow suit here and get on out of there. So that was really just kind of a poor attack. It was just kind of a frontal assault against a lot of guys who were ready for it with a lot of cover, and the Assault Marines were really, really well used there. So unfortunately, that's not looking good. Also, these Guardians here, they could have, I don't know. They saw for a little while there that there was an opportunity maybe to throw a hand grenade or something, but instead they decided to sprint on out. Again, we got a little bit of harassment happening here by the Warp Spider Exarch. By the way, tier 2 for Count Von Count right now. And now, surprisingly, these Assault Marines are just going to stand there and try and cap this victory point. Again, Plasma Grenade right there could have been really useful. Plasma Grenade anywhere here would be really useful. Just remember you have these abilities. Like, see how often they're standing still, taking casualties right now, just trying to sacrifice their men to be able to cap this victory point. That's a really bad idea for Count Von Count, and he should definitely punish him for that. No! And the Guardians could have moved on into force melee. The Warp Spider Exarch could have blinked on up to try and cap that last assault squad. Remember how important it is to kill your opponent's squads. It's great to win by, oh no, and almost throwing a plasma grenade on their own retreating units there. That was just kind of unfortunate micro. I mean, that stuff takes a little bit of practice to get used to. Here we go, though. This I like. We have the Howling Banshees upgraded with the aspect of the Banshee, screaming away in these guys' faces and just charging them down. Hopefully we'll see this Warp Spider Exarch blink around. Again, I think the priority should be more on killing your opponent's units than on simply grabbing these victory points, because at this stage of the game, Blaster's already up 2-0. Going 3-0 doesn't really change things too much. Oh no! And the Howling Banshees, unsupported, walk right into a high explosive shot from the scouts and are now being set upon by these assault. No, the Assault Marines are going to go away from it. Anyhow, like I was saying, though, I think whenever you've got a choice between wounded units and control of a victory point or something else like that, you kill the wounded units. You want to take out squads. It's the most important thing ever. Looking around here, we can see that the scouts are being shredded by this Warp Spider Exarch. That's super good right now. Down to a single gentleman here. That's not looking good at all. Warp Spider Exarch should blink on in there. Come on, Warp Spider Exarch. You can do it. Oh, Warp Spider Exarch blinking on in. Does he get another shot or anything like that? No, he's not going to be able to do that. Instead, he's just going to be completely destroyed here, blinking on into these Tactical Marines and this Tech Marine here. So that's not good at all. Again, I think could have gone for the throat right there and tried to kill a unit, but whatever. So let's take a look around now and see where we're at. Full set of generators here. Nothing here. It looks like Blaster went ahead and repositioned the generators here to this right-hand side one. So still really good control. Right now we do have these Tactical Marines taking control of the center, and Assault Marines up here in the north. So, kind of anybody's game here so far, but the Howling Banshees now charging on in, using their Howling Banshee scream there just to kind of suppress these guys, reduce their damage, and now just shredding them in close combat. Oh, that does not look good at all. Really well backed up here by this Guardian squad. That is definitely in their favor here, and they're going to have to... This guy just landed straight on his face right there. Oh, that's too bad. Anyhow, the Assault Marines here are going to have to retreat on out of there. They definitely stuck around a little bit too long. I do like the idea of using the jump first and then retreating, just to take best use of that there. More towards the center, we can see that the scouts are just shotgunning away at all of these Guardians here. They're really close range. They're probably using a high explosive shot. Oh god, Guardians, get out of there! And the Guardians do just barely retreat. Meanwhile, it looks like the scouts here are just trying to cap this central victory point. Again, that's really a bad idea. Oh, and the whole scout squad just shredded by this blinking Warp Spider Exarch. Great idea. That's exactly how you should use it. But the Warp Spider Exarch, just barely able to retreat away from there. Okay, just be careful. Be careful. So far, Blaster has been pretty good about making sure they don't lose units, but getting a little close in some cases here. Howling Banshees now charging in. Again, frontal assault against Tactical Marines and backed up by a Tech Marine. That's a little bit less good for them. You can see here that the Tactical Marines, I was hoping the Tactical Marines would stand and fight just a little bit longer since the Assault Marines were coming on in. Now you can see the Howling Banshees here taking a ton of casualties anyways. I think that was kind of a costly charge for them. And these poor Guardians, again, are just being set upon by Assault Marines. They need to get out of here. Throwing a single Plasma Grenade. Okay, you know, it was reasonable Plasma Grenade there. Knocked one guy over, but didn't really do too much else. And now we can see the fruits of the Tier 2 labor here is this Wraith Lord. An interesting choice, not like, you know, not the worst choice ever, and it's certainly not countered by anything on the field right now. However, as soon as he gets, well, I guess Count Von Count is Tier 2, and could have missile launchers upgraded for both of his tactical squads, and he's got Assault Marine squad, so, I mean, it's not an amazing unit at this stage in the game, but okay, sure, whatever. I'll just go with what they give me. But honestly, I would love to see more Shuriken Cannon teams. Shuriken Cannons work really, really well at suppressing units like Tactical Marines. Obviously, they're vulnerable to being set upon by these Assault Marines. By the way, see, the Assault Squad already has the Melt-A-Bomb upgrade and stuff, so I don't know, that's not the best unit ever there. Warp Spider Exarch, again, trying to cap this victory point. To what end? It's not necessary. Blaster was already up 2-0, getting that third victory point at the cost of a Warp Spider Exarch. That was unfortunate. However, looks like buying some time here for the Guardians. Fully upgraded Guardians, by the way, and this Wraith Lord here to just kind of hack away at these generators. I certainly like the look of that. Let's take a look more towards the center. Again, we've got Howling Banshees screaming and charging on in, and faceplant once again. So that was Howling Banshees backed up by the Guardians, doing a really good job, completely killing that Assault Marine squad, and that's the end of the game. It looks like the Tech Marine was just too tired of losing units there, didn't want to deal with it. I think that was kind of a psychological victory. Honestly, Count Von Count was not out of the game, but he was definitely in a weak position there, losing those Assault Marines and not really having anything to show for it, and not having any Tier 2. Kind of some bad news there, and I guess maybe put off a little bit by losing that late game generator. But honestly, I still think there was possibility for a game there, but perhaps he was too afraid of, he was just about to lose his hero and all that sort of thing. Oh, by the way, notice that the Tech Marines did get the missile launcher up. So anyhow, congratulations, by the way, to Blaster, who sent me this replay. Blaster, I believe, is a she, unless they were just using a she's email account. But anyhow, so that's the the unheard of 2 or 3% of my viewers out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to move on and see if we can find some more games.